Imagine a young man named David, who lives in a bustling city filled with bright lights and endless opportunities. He works hard at a good job that pays well, and he dreams of one day having the latest gadgets, a shiny car, and a beautiful home. David believes that if he can just earn enough money, he will be happy. But as he spends more time at work, something begins to change inside him. David's job is demanding and stressful. He finds himself working late nights and weekends, often missing family gatherings and time with friends. Whenever he tries to relax, his mind drifts back to bills he has to pay or promotions he wants to earn. The more time he spends chasing after success, the more distant he feels from the people he loves most. One evening, after a long day at work, David sits in his small apartment feeling exhausted. A friend invites him to a community event at their church. At first, David hesitates. He thinks about how much he could accomplish if he spent those few hours working instead. But something nudges at him, a feeling deep inside that maybe this is exactly what he needs. At the event, David sees people laughing, sharing stories, and spending time together. There's a warmth that fills the room, unlike anything he has experienced in a while. He listens as the speaker shares a message about Jesus' words, "You cannot serve both God and money." Suddenly, David feels uneasy. He reflects on how much time he has dedicated to his job compared to his spiritual life. As he absorbs this idea, memories of joyful moments flood back, time spent with family during holidays and friendships built around shared experiences. He realizes that while money can buy things, it can't buy happiness or connection. The speaker emphasizes that true fulfillment comes from serving something greater than oneself, love, kindness, and faith. This resonates with David deeply as he recalls moments when helping others brought him joy greater than any paycheck ever could. He starts thinking about his choices and wonders if there's a way to balance his career aspirations with his spiritual values. By the end of the night, David understands that pursuing wealth isn't wrong, it's all about the priorities we set in our lives. As he walks home under the stars, he promises himself to find ways to reconnect with his faith and loved ones amidst his busy life. It's a moment of clarity, a realization that true wealth lies not just in financial success but in love and relationships nurtured by faith. This is where many of us may find ourselves today, standing at that crossroad between material desires and deeper spiritual fulfillment. How do we make sure we do not lose sight of what truly matters? Let's explore this journey together as we delve deeper into what Jesus meant by his powerful words. As David walked home that night, the words he had heard at the community event echoed in his mind, "You cannot serve both God and money." This powerful statement comes from the Bible, specifically Matthew 6 verse 24. Jesus shared these words during a time when many people were grappling with similar struggles between material wealth and spiritual richness. In this teaching, Jesus isn't suggesting that money itself is evil, rather, he points out that our hearts can only belong fully to one master. If we allow money to take the lead, we might find ourselves chasing after things that ultimately leave us empty. Jesus understood how easily people can become trapped in the cycle of wanting more success, more possessions, more recognition, believing that these things will bring happiness. Imagine the world around you. It's filled with messages that tell us to strive for wealth and status as a measure of success. Social media shows us perfectly curated lives filled with luxury items and extravagant experiences. But beneath that shiny surface lies a reality where many struggle with feelings of anxiety and loneliness. David's experience mirrors this reality. He had spent so much time focused on his job, hoping each promotion would fill a void within him. Yet, each achievement left him feeling more isolated from what truly mattered, his relationships and spiritual well-being. This disconnect is something many of us face today. In Matthew 6 verse 24, Jesus invites us to reflect on what we treasure most in our lives. He challenges us to consider whether our choices are leading us closer to God or further away into the pursuit of material gain. When we serve money, we often end up sacrificing our values, our joy, and even our relationships. To illustrate this point further, think about a common scenario: a person who works long hours to provide for their family but misses important milestones like birthdays or school events. While they may earn enough money to buy gifts and provide comfort, they may also be missing out on creating lasting memories and nurturing connections with loved ones. This is where prioritizing spiritual values over material gain becomes crucial. As David reflected on this message, he began to realize that true fulfillment doesn't come from accumulating wealth but from deepening his relationships and serving others with love and kindness. It's a lesson that Jesus teaches throughout his ministry, a call to prioritize love over greed. Now it's time for us all to ask ourselves, what are we serving in our own lives? Are we allowing money to dictate our choices? As we explore this further, let's open our hearts to the possibility of choosing faith and connection over the relentless pursuit of material wealth. Together, let's discover what it truly means to serve God wholeheartedly. To truly appreciate Jesus' powerful message about serving God versus money, it's important to understand the context in which he spoke these words. During Jesus' time, the society was vastly different from our modern world, yet many struggles remain timeless. People were living under Roman rule, which imposed heavy taxes on them. Many families struggled to make ends meet, facing poverty while trying to provide for their loved ones. Imagine for a moment the daily life of a typical person during that era. They worked hard in fields or shops, often barely earning enough to survive. The pressures of providing basic needs took a toll on their spirit. In such times of hardship, it was easy for people to prioritize material wealth out of sheer necessity. The constant worry about financial security could lead anyone to focus solely on accumulating money, sometimes at the expense of relationships and moral values. At the same time, societal values were shifting. The lure of wealth and status became a major driving force in people's lives. Owning more land or having more possessions was viewed as success, leading many to desire riches above all else. This mentality often resulted in competition and jealousy among neighbors and friends, pushing individuals further away from community and compassion. When Jesus delivered his message, he recognized this struggle. He wasn't just teaching about money, he was addressing a deep-rooted issue in human nature, the tendency to let material desires consume us. In Matthew 6 verse 24, when he says, "You cannot serve both God and money," he is calling out the danger of divided loyalties. Jesus knew that when people devoted themselves entirely to wealth, they risked losing sight of what truly mattered: love, community, and faith. Bringing this teaching into our present day, we see similar patterns in our lives today. Many of us feel pressure to achieve certain financial milestones or accumulate possessions that society tells us will bring happiness. Yet, just like those in Jesus' time, we may find ourselves feeling anxious and disconnected from those we love as we chase after these worldly ambitions. David's story illustrates this universal struggle perfectly, a young man torn between pursuing success and maintaining his relationships. And just like David discovered at the community event, it's crucial to pause and reflect on what choices we are making every day. As we explore this further, let's consider, how much of our energy is spent chasing material gain versus nurturing connections with those around us? Are we allowing societal values to dictate our priorities? This examination can lead us to a deeper understanding of what it means to serve God wholeheartedly in today's fast-paced world, a journey worth taking together as we seek fulfillment beyond financial success. As David continues to reflect on the teaching of Jesus, he begins to understand what it truly means to serve two masters. The phrase, "You cannot serve both God and money," isn't just about choosing between faith and finance, it's about where we place our hearts and our priorities. Think about it this way. Imagine a young woman named Sarah who works at a busy corporate job. She is dedicated and puts in long hours, hoping for promotions and raises. But as she climbs the ladder, she often misses important events in her family's lives, like her sister's wedding or her best friend's graduation. Each time she misses an event, she tells herself it's for the greater good, the money will help provide for her future and support her loved ones. Yet, deep down, Sarah feels a growing emptiness. When we serve money, we often convince ourselves that we are making sacrifices for the sake of our families. However, those sacrifices can lead to disconnection from those we love most. Serving God, on the other hand, means prioritizing relationships and values that bring true joy and fulfillment. It invites us to consider how our choices impact our loved ones. Picture another scenario: a father named Michael who works hard to provide for his family but also makes an effort to attend his children's soccer games and school plays. He sees the joy in their faces when he cheers them on from the sidelines. Michael understands that while earning money is important, being present in his children's lives creates lasting memories and strengthens their bond. He is serving God by being a loving father and focusing on what truly matters. This brings us back to David. He starts to recognize that serving God requires intentional decisions, like setting aside time for family dinners, volunteering in the community, or simply being there for friends in need. It's about choosing love over labor and fulfillment over financial gain. Serving two masters creates conflict within us. we might find ourselves feeling pulled in different directions, between work obligations and the desire to connect with others. When money becomes our master, we often sacrifice our peace of mind and relationships for the sake of chasing more. But when we serve God, we align ourselves with a purpose that goes beyond the material world. David realizes this struggle has parallels in his own life. The more he focused on climbing the corporate ladder, the more he lost sight of what brings happiness: his relationships with family and friends, his spiritual health, and his desire to make a positive impact on others. As we reflect on these examples today, let's ask ourselves, which master are we serving? Are we prioritizing financial success at the cost of our relationships? Or are we choosing to nurture connections and embrace spiritual values? By aligning ourselves with God's purpose, we can experience deeper fulfillment in all areas of our lives, a journey worth taking as we strive to find balance between our responsibilities and our true calling. As David contemplates the teachings of Jesus, he starts to see that he's not alone in his struggle between faith and the pursuit of wealth. Many people from various walks of life have faced similar dilemmas, and their stories can shed light on the choices we make. Take the story of Lisa, a successful entrepreneur who built her own marketing agency from the ground up. In the early days, she poured every ounce of her energy into her business, sacrificing weekends and family time to stay ahead in a competitive market. As her company grew and her bank account flourished, she felt an exhilarating rush. However, the joy was short-lived. Lisa soon realized that her relationships were suffering. Her children often asked why she was always working, and her husband felt like a roommate rather than a partner. One day, after missing her daughter's birthday party for a big client meeting, Lisa had an epiphany. She sat with her family that evening, looking at the empty chair where she should have been. It sparked a moment of clarity. She understood that no amount of money could replace the love and connection with her family. Lisa made the courageous decision to refocus her priorities. She learned to delegate tasks at work and set boundaries to ensure she would be present for her loved ones. By choosing to serve her family over her business ambitions, she found a deeper joy and fulfillment that money could never provide. Then there's the story of James, a middle-class worker struggling to make ends meet. He was always on the lookout for overtime shifts to pay off bills, often missing church and community events. One Sunday, he attended a service where the pastor spoke about generosity and community support. Inspired by this message, James took a leap of faith by volunteering at a local shelter instead of working extra hours that week. At first, it felt risky. He worried about his finances, but as he served meals and connected with people in need, he found profound joy in giving back. The experience transformed him. He realized that serving God through helping others not only strengthened his spirit but also provided him with a sense of purpose beyond his paycheck. These stories illustrate that the battle between serving God and seeking wealth is not just an abstract teaching, it's a reality many face daily. Each individual made a choice that changed their lives for the better, whether it was Lisa refocusing on family or James finding purpose through service. As David reflects on Lisa and James' experiences, he feels inspired to evaluate his own choices. He understands that serving God doesn't mean neglecting responsibilities but rather balancing them with love and compassion for those around us. Now it's time for us all to think, are we making decisions based on our faith or solely on financial gain? How can we find ways to serve others while achieving our goals? By sharing these stories, we remind ourselves that true wealth lies not in what we accumulate but in how we nurture our connections and fulfill our purpose in life. As we move forward, let's embrace the opportunity to serve God above all else, building relationships that truly enrich our lives. As David continues his journey of reflection, he begins to understand a vital lesson that Jesus emphasized throughout his teachings: the importance of where we place our hearts. In Matthew 6 verse 21, Jesus says, "For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." This profound statement serves as a reminder for all of us to examine our true desires and priorities. Let's consider a simple yet powerful illustration. Imagine a gardener tending to their plants. The gardener knows that in order for the flowers to bloom beautifully, they need consistent care, water, sunlight, and attention. By investing time and energy into nurturing those plants, the gardener creates a vibrant garden filled with life and color. Similarly, where we choose to invest our hearts, our time and energy, shapes what flourishes in our lives. David sees this clearly as he reflects on his own life. He realizes that when he devoted most of his time to work and financial gain, his relationships with family and friends struggled to grow. It was like watering weeds instead of flowers. Nothing beautiful could thrive in an environment starved of love and connection. Now think about someone like Anna, who works as a nurse. Her job requires long hours and can often be exhausting. Yet every day she chooses to serve her patients with kindness and compassion. Anna understands that her true treasure lies not in her paycheck but in the impact she makes on others' lives. When she comforts a patient or listens to their worries, her heart fills with joy and purpose. She finds fulfillment in serving others rather than chasing after wealth. The key message here is not about dismissing financial stability, it's about recognizing what truly drives us. Are we allowing ourselves to be consumed by the pursuit of money, or are we choosing paths that align with love and service? David reflects on how easy it is to get caught up in societal pressures that define success by bank accounts or status rather than by the richness of our relationships. As he contemplates these stories, David feels inspired to shift his focus toward what truly matters, his family, his friendships, his faith, and make daily choices that reflect those values. He understands now that true fulfillment comes from nurturing connections rather than accumulating possessions. Each one of us has the opportunity to evaluate where we place our hearts. Are we treasuring moments with loved ones? Are we investing in experiences that bring joy and meaning? By realigning our priorities with love and service at the forefront, we can create lives filled with purpose. So as you consider your own journey today, ask yourself, where is my heart truly invested? Am I nurturing what brings me joy and connection? Let's embrace Jesus' teaching together as a call to reflect on our true desires and make intentional choices that lead us toward fulfillment beyond material wealth, a journey worth embarking upon as we seek to serve God wholeheartedly. As David dives deeper into his reflections, he begins to understand the profound impact of the choices we make in our lives. One thing that stands out is the difference between serving money and serving God. When we prioritize financial gain above all else, it can lead to a whirlwind of stress, anxiety, and discontentment. Imagine a young professional named Mark, who works in finance. He wakes up every day with the weight of expectations on his shoulders. He feels pressure to meet targets, ensure profits, and climb the corporate ladder. Initially, Mark thrives on this fast-paced lifestyle, thinking that success will bring him happiness. But as months turn into years, he notices how his health deteriorates, sleepless nights become routine, and stress starts to take a toll on his relationships. Mark misses out on family gatherings because he's working late or trying to make another deal happen. Despite accumulating wealth and recognition in his career, he finds himself feeling more alone and dissatisfied. He realizes that while money affords him material comforts, it robs him of joy and genuine connection with those who matter most. In contrast, let's think about Emma, who runs a community bakery. While her income may not match Mark's salary, she wakes up each day excited about her work because it serves a purpose beyond profit. Emma pours her heart into making delicious treats that bring people together, celebrations are held at her bakery, friendships blossom over coffee, and community bonds are strengthened through shared experiences. Each loaf of bread she bakes comes with love and warmth. By choosing to serve her community rather than purely focusing on financial gains, Emma finds peace and fulfillment. Her life is filled with laughter from customers and gratitude from friends who appreciate what she does. Although her path may be less lucrative at times compared to Mark's corporate world, it brings her immense joy, a reminder that true wealth lies in connection and service. As David reflects on these contrasting stories of Mark and Emma, he feels a shift within himself too. He sees how serving money often creates a cycle of anxiety where one is never satisfied enough, there's always more to chase. This relentless pursuit can lead to losing sight of what genuinely fulfills us, our relationships with others and our spiritual well-being. On the other hand, when we choose to serve God by nurturing connections and engaging in acts of kindness or community service, we unlock a deeper sense of peace and fulfillment in our lives. It becomes clear that these choices can radically reshape our experiences. David recognizes now that he has the power to redirect his focus away from merely chasing after wealth toward investing time in nourishing relationships with family and friends while engaging in acts of service. As you consider your own journey today, think about this: are your choices leading you toward stress and discontentment? Or are they guiding you toward peace and fulfillment? Choosing to serve God by prioritizing love over financial gain offers us a chance to live richer lives filled with meaningful connections, a path worthy of any journey we embark upon. As David contemplates the messages he has reflected on, he realizes that understanding is just the first step, action is essential. To truly embody the teachings of Jesus and focus more on spiritual growth rather than material gain, there are several simple yet powerful steps we can take in our daily lives. First, let's talk about gratitude practices. One way to start is by keeping a gratitude journal. Each evening, take a few moments to write down 3 things you are thankful for that day. It could be as simple as a warm cup of coffee in the morning, a kind word from a friend, or time spent with family. This practice can shift your mindset from what you lack toward appreciating the richness of your life, aligning your heart more closely with love and connection. Next, consider setting aside time each week for community service. Serving others helps us remember our shared humanity and the importance of connection over competition. Whether it's volunteering at a local shelter, helping out at a community garden, or participating in charity events, these actions not only benefit those in need but also enrich our own lives. Remember the joy Emma felt in her bakery. That spirit can be yours too as you engage with your community. Another valuable practice is to dedicate time for reflection and prayer. Setting aside even just 5 to 10 minutes each day can create space for you to connect with God and evaluate your priorities. Use this time to ask yourself questions like, how am I serving others? Am I chasing after financial gain at the expense of my relationships? What does God want me to focus on today? Creating this sacred space allows for clarity and helps you align your heart with His will. You might also consider joining or forming small groups focused on spiritual growth. This could be a book club that explores spiritual literature or a discussion group that dives into Scripture together. Engaging with others who share similar goals fosters accountability and encouragement on your journey toward prioritizing spiritual fulfillment. Lastly, remember to practice kindness in your daily interactions. Small acts, like holding the door open for someone, complimenting a coworker, or simply smiling at strangers, can have profound impacts on both you and those around you. These small gestures become ripples of love and connection that illustrate what it means to serve God through everyday actions. As David reflects on these actionable steps, he feels motivated to incorporate them into his life. He understands that making these changes may take time and effort, but they can lead to a more fulfilling life aligned with Jesus' teachings. So as you look ahead, think about which of these practices resonates most with you. How can you integrate them into your life today? By intentionally focusing on spiritual growth over material gain, we can transform our lives into richer experiences filled with love, purpose, and true fulfillment, allowing us to serve God wholeheartedly and create meaningful connections along the way. Together, let's embark on this journey of growth and service as we strive to live out our faith in practical ways every day. As David reflects on his journey, he feels a growing desire to invite viewers into their own moment of reflection. Now that we've explored the contrast between serving God and money, it's time for each of us to take a step back and examine our own lives. Let's pause for a moment and consider some important questions. What do you truly value? Is it your career, your wealth, or your relationships? Are there aspects of your life where you find yourself chasing after money, status, or material possessions at the expense of what really matters? Imagine standing at a crossroads. On one path, you see the glittery allure of wealth, promotions, luxury items, and recognition from peers. But on the other path, there's a warm glow radiating from moments spent with loved ones, acts of kindness shared in your community, and the quiet fulfillment that comes from living out your faith. Which road are you choosing to walk down each day? Take a moment to think about it. Reflect on how you spend your time each week. Are you dedicating enough moments to connect with family and friends? Are you giving as much energy to nurturing relationships as you do to advancing in your career? When was the last time you paused to appreciate the simple joys in life or reached out to help someone in need? Let's bring this closer to home with a personal example. Consider a typical day in your life. As you rush through it, is your mind consumed with tasks related to work? Do you find that weekends are filled with catching up on deadlines rather than enjoying time with those you love? If you feel this pull, remember that Jesus calls us to something greater, a life filled with purpose and connection. Now think about what truly brings you joy. Is it getting a bonus at work or sharing laughter over dinner with family? Is it being applauded for achievements or volunteering at a local shelter and seeing the smiles on others' faces? This is where we start to understand our heart's true desires. Reflecting on these questions allows us to recalibrate our priorities and make intentional choices that align more closely with God's teachings. It's an opportunity to evaluate if our hearts are invested in things that lead to lasting fulfillment or fleeting satisfaction. If you're feeling overwhelmed by material pursuits, take this moment to pray or meditate. Ask for clarity on what changes you can make to bring more love and connection into your life. As David continues this journey, he encourages viewers to embrace the challenge of living with purpose, to aim for spiritual growth rather than material gain. By reflecting on what really matters and adjusting our paths accordingly, we can create lives filled with meaningful connections and true fulfillment. So, as we wrap up today's conversation, I encourage you to commit to one small change this week, whether it's reaching out to a friend, dedicating time for service, or simply taking a moment each day for gratitude. Together, let's pursue lives that honor God and foster deep connections, making the choice to serve Him over money each step of the way. As we bring today's journey to a close, David reflects on everything we've explored together. The teachings of Jesus remind us that the choice between serving God and serving money is not just a concept for discussion, it's a daily decision we all face. In Matthew 6 verse 24, Jesus clearly states, "You cannot serve both God and money." This powerful message resonates through the ages and calls us to examine where we truly focus our hearts and intentions. Throughout our conversation, we've seen how easy it can be to get caught up in the demands of work, seeking promotions, or accumulating wealth. But those pursuits often lead to feelings of stress and emptiness. On the other hand, when we prioritize nurturing relationships, serving others, and aligning our actions with our values, we find deeper joy and contentment in life. David encourages you to take action today. Think about your commitments. Are they rooted in love and purpose? Could you shift some time away from financial pursuits towards activities that bring meaningful connections to your life? Perhaps try volunteering at a local charity or simply reaching out to reconnect with loved ones. Small changes can create significant impacts. Now imagine how fulfilling it would be if everyone took these steps together, impacting not only our lives but also those around us. We each have the potential to create a community of support, love, and connection through mindful choices inspired by faith. As you reflect on these thoughts, I urge you to consider this: what is one actionable step you can take this week that prioritizes spiritual growth over material gain? Share your thoughts in the comments below or start a conversation with a friend about what you've learned today. Your reflections might inspire someone else on their journey. Life is full of challenges, but every day is also an opportunity for growth. Let's embrace the calls from Jesus' teachings as a chance to choose paths filled with love rather than anxiety over wealth. By stepping forward with intention toward fostering meaningful connections and embracing community service, we align ourselves more closely with God's will. So as we wrap up this discussion, let's commit together to live out these principles. Share your experiences or any hurdles you may face. Remember that journeys are easier when shared. We're all part of a larger community striving for the same goal: to honor God by living lives rich in love and purpose. Thank you for joining us on this path today. Together as one community, let's continue seeking ways to grow in our faith while nurturing relationships that truly matter, ultimately leading us towards deeper fulfillment and joy in serving both God and one another.